Good morning. The title for today is Contemplating Court Appearance. Before I even read the blurb, let me say that I got 3 hours of sleep last night. I woke up at 1:15, went to bed at about 10 o'clock, and I know I was awake for a while, so I figure it might have been about 10:15 when I fell asleep. I thought I'd fall back asleep when I woke up, but after a half an hour, I knew that wasn't going to happen, so I got up and went into the meditation room till after 3 o'clock. Over an hour I was in the meditation room. It's the longest I've been in the meditation room in a good while. And lots of praying, lots of meditating, lots of contemplating, much silence, some talking to God, to Mother Earth, to the angelic realm, to myself. I came to the computer. It wasn't even 10 after 3 yet. Checked my email, wrote my blurb, and I've been meditating ever since. So I just sit here waiting for 4:44 to get here. The blurb that I wrote is, last night I got to witness firsthand the fear of others on my behalf in light of my upcoming court appearance. While I feel emboldened when I look at the real law of the land and prepare paperwork from that perspective, they remind me that the matrix does not honor or keep the law. Psychopaths have no honor. I know that. Yes, I feel it very deeply, and to not acknowledge fear would be insane. Yet it's also insane to continue to live in fear of a world based on fraud. Someone has to stand up for truth. I'd rather it be someone else. And if it has to be me, I'd sure like the support of observers willing to go to court with me. The support of people willing to stand with me in spirit would be nice too, as would the manifestation of an angel or two. Indeed. I almost didn't want to put a shirt on this morning. In fact, I just put one on about 10 minutes or so ago, because the naked chest would indicate the vulnerability that I'm feeling, especially after last night's meeting. I mean, I could see the concern in people's eyes as we talked about what I face this coming Tuesday and perhaps Thursday as well, although the first time is going to be the most difficult. As I said in the blurb, when I look up the law and I look at things that say how it's supposed to be, what the truth is, what the government is supposed to respond, I feel very strong. And I was reminded of the Apostle Paul, who said, when I write my letters to you, I feel very bold, and yet when I'm with you in person, I don't come across quite the same way. And I've been trained to be very courteous. And courtesy in a courtroom is taken oftentimes as being willing to come under their jurisdiction, which I'm not willing to do. But as one friend keeps reminding me, it's not what you say, it's not what you write, it's what you do that they're going to look at. And I'm a courteous person. I say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. I say that a lot. I was trained that way. I was trained to listen to people and acknowledge them. I was trained to answer. And so I'm having to learn, or hopefully learn, a behavior that is foreign to my nature. I'm kind and considerate. Now, yesterday, in yesterday's video, I talked about having a dream with two dark-haired people coming in on me. I think those were two people on Facebook. They were the same person with two different names. That I finally actually had to cut both of them off. I blocked both of them from my Facebook account. And believe me, I don't do that lightly, and I haven't done it often. There might have only been two other people in the whole time that I've been on Facebook that I've actually blocked. Certainly I never blocked two in one day before, but I did yesterday. Now the two may have been the same person. A troll, the one that I talked about, saying he was an NSA agent, and then he starts using profanity against, not me, but against one of my friends, and I pulled him. I blocked him, and then this other person whom I only just befriended came on saying some of the same things the other one was saying and using profanity at me, and I blocked him immediately. And then I go back and I look, and some of the people are saying they're the same person, which I didn't know. And the reason I bring that up is because they're afraid. They're probably, and it's funny because when the first person that I befriended didn't have a picture of themselves. The second one had a picture, a dark-haired gentleman in a tie and a jacket. And I had the creeps just looking at his face. I mean, I got this really strange feeling, and I almost didn't befriend him. But I choose to befriend everybody, and I choose to thank everybody for participating in the awakening. But some people are really afraid, and even the psychopaths are feeling the fear. I don't believe they came after me by accident. I don't believe they cooked up all that stuff and broke all the rules by accident. I know that. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. There's a method to it. I can imagine what the method might be. And I'm telling you the truth. I wish to God I did not have to go into that courtroom at all. I wish I did not have to play the freaking game that they're forcing me to play. I wish I didn't. I wish nobody did. But somebody has to. And I guess it's me. And I'm not the only one. There are others that are going into the courtroom. Some do very well, others don't. And that's the truth. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to overcome my natural courtesy to people and stand strong and yet courteous, not discourteous, not in dishonor, but stand strong and not answer questions, because I have a tendency to want to run my mouth and to say what I know to be true. I don't know. My friends are concerned with me. And as the one friend said to me, he's really afraid that we're not going to be able to change anything, because there's no history of us actually being able to stand up to this power elite and win. There's no history. And as I said last night, we've got to stop looking back for our strength, because our strength is not behind us, it's in front of us. Somehow I have to raise myself up to be able to see from where I see myself being free, in celebration, having won the victory, because that is my destiny. That is the destiny of all of us, if we can but accept that. And we need to see ourselves from that position and look back on the present from the position of having won, and be emboldened somehow to stand up in the present and not repeat the past and break away from the anchoring of the past into repetitious recycling of negative events, of negative circumstances, of the matrix, disempowering humans and empowering people that are sick. And that sickness is part of the human race. It wouldn't be able to exist if it wasn't. It's not separate from us. It's part of our experience. It's part of us. But it's a part of us that has been distorted. And somehow, as I said when I talked about sovereignty a couple of days ago, somehow we have to see ourselves as that sovereign. And we have to bring that sovereignty into the lion's den, into the fiery furnace, into the courtroom. Somehow we have to do that. And I would feel so much better, as I said, if I had a handful of people, at least, going to court with me that day. I've asked for help from people in the Republic right here in Florida that went with me the last time I went to court on May the 18th. None of them are showing any inclination to go with me this time. They're avoiding it, even though I've asked them point blank in emails. They're avoiding it. And I wish I had a private attorney. I'm not talking about a bar attorney. I'm talking about a free man, a sovereign, that could go with me and help and stand with me and somehow get permission to actually speak with me on my behalf. Not silencing me, but the two of us could stand together as two witnesses against the criminality of the court and on behalf of the actual law of the land, which is the Constitution, by the way, folks. For those of you that don't know, it is the Constitution. That is the law of the land. The rights granted in the Bill of Rights and the rights granted in the Declaration of Rights in Florida, the 27 of those rights are guaranteed forever. Forever. And the state is breaking it. The state, the actual matrix structure, is violating their own oaths. They're operating without authority, but they're pretending to have authority, and they have a bunch of ignorant people called cops or sheriff deputies that think that they're compelled to obey the law of these insane people, to obey the command of these insane people. Now, I did hear an interesting thing yesterday that one of the people in the Republic, I don't know which state it was in, and I don't know the person's name, but they had a land patent on their property, and the bank foreclosed on them anyway and issued an order to the sheriff to seize the property. And I don't know what the process went through, but it actually went to the Justice Department of the United States Justice in Washington, D.C., the Justice Department in Washington. And the Justice Department issued an order to the sheriff that if they seized a property that's protected by land patent, the U.S. Marshals would arrest the sheriff. That's interesting. And there's all sorts of dynamics that would take place there because the sheriff is supposed to be the highest authority in the land. But when the sheriff breaks his oath of office, he no longer has authority. He's betrayed the people. He's betrayed his oath. And the federal government that currently exists is willing to send in marshals to arrest unlawful sheriffs or keep sheriffs from acting unlawfully. My property is protected by a land patent. It doesn't matter if somebody if the clerk of court issues a title to PNC Bank. The title has no validity. The land patent is superior. That's the law. And I really think that this driving without a license thing relates to the other. I think they're interconnected. If I could see and connect all the dots and all the people that have participated in getting me arrested, I think it's the same people. It's the same people. And I'm going up against a court that has been criminal in they've issued orders and stuff like that are unlawful. And I've pointed that out to them. They don't like that. But it's true. My arrest, there was no arrest. An arrest is a lawful description. It's described in law. It requires a warrant. They did not present a warrant to me prior to my arrest. That is unlawful, and everything that followed is meaningless because the very act itself is void because it doesn't have basis and standing in law. That's the truth. But I'm going up against people that don't pay any attention to the law, obviously. How does one stand in such a situation? How does one prevail in such a situation when you're going up against such crazy, insane odds of people that don't know? And do I know how it's going to be? I don't know. I don't know. But certainly last night, from listening and observing even the eyes of people, they're afraid. And so many people are afraid. Now, we can't deny that we're afraid, but we can't keep living in the fear either. Somehow, some way, we've got to rise up above it. And so I'm asking those of you that are hearing and can help and can come and go with me to court, even if you live out of the area and you have some time off, come and stay in my house. You know, you're welcome. But I would like people to go with me to court. And I would like people all over the earth to stand with me on Tuesday when I have to go into the courtroom. I would like them to call it off, but I don't think they're going to. I'd be surprised. It would be a nice surprise. Anyway, I'm putting this out. I'm speaking from my heart. I'm telling the truth. I'm very vulnerable because I know my nature. I know my nature. And some of the things that I may be required to do in the courtroom on Tuesday seem to fly in the face of my normal way of living and acting and behaving and speaking. And I need help. Thank you for listening. Namaste.